So today we're going to look at key signatures. And to consider key signatures, of course, we can't talk about key signatures without referring to things like accidentals. In a previous video, I talked about accidentals. You can find the video right there. So let's look at key signatures. Now you pick a piece of music, and the piece of music, you see things like 2 sharps or 2 flats or 3 sharps or 3 flats. What do they actually mean? That's the key signature. So today we'll look at 4 key signatures in the sharp family and in the flat family. So let's start by talking about the sharps family. So in the sharps family, we'll look at the first 4, which is G, D, A, and E. And this number of, we'll call this key and number of sharps. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So what this is trying to say is that if you pick a piece of music and you see 1 sharp on it, that piece, the key of that piece, musical piece, is in G, and it's actually a major key. Let's be clear about that, because there are minor keys as well, but here we're referring to major keys. So we call this G major, as well as D major, A major, and E major. Now, why does G major have 1 sharp? Let's quickly explain that. So sometimes you ask some students, or you see people, music people, and you ask them, why is 1 sharp G? They are not able to tell you. They say things like, we learned it that way, or that's how it has always been. But I'm here to tell you, that's not how it has always been. There is a way we look at it. There is a reason why we have G as 1 sharp, and let's look at that. Now if you consider the key of G, like I said, is 1 sharp, let's draw the dummy keyboard and from there follow through. This will be G, this will be A, this will be A, this will be G, this will be B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, so let's follow through with the key of G. Now we want to get a scale which is the Do, the tonic to the octave tonic, which is Do to Do. Right. Remember that we have the general rule to be able to get a scale on any key, and of course with any instrument. And that rule is, if you have not forgotten, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. If you don't know what this is, you can visit the video where I talked about tone, tone, semitone, tone to tone, semitone. I'll drop the link in the description below so you can check that. Okay, so let's look at the key of G. So if this is our Do, if we move a tone from here, we'll have Re, which is A. Okay, to get Mi, we move a tone, of course that will be B. And then to get Fa, you move a semitone, of course that will be C. Why? Because there's no black key. Remember that all these are black keys. These shaded ones are black keys. Okay? There is no black key in between B and C. So it therefore means that distance between B and C is a semitone, if you remember. Same thing to get So. We move a tone distance from C, and of course we have this. And then La, if you follow through like that. And then let's look at T. To get T, we are asked to move a tone distance from E. A tone distance from E is definitely not F, because The distance between E and F is a semitone. Why? Again, because there is no black key. So the distance between E and F is a semitone, but we need to move a tone. So we therefore need to hit this note. This note is F sharp. Okay? So eventually we're having this G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G. Now let's count. How many notes are sharpened in this key of G? It's only one. And that's why G is 1 sharp. Because only one note is sharpened in the key of G. And that note is F. Okay? Now the same thing applies to D, which is 2 sharps. So let's follow through on this. Okay, we have D, of course E, and this is Do, this is Re, that's a tone. Now to get Mi, we are asked to move a tone. A tone from here is this, which is F sharp, okay, and then G, A, B. If you use this formula, you just get what I'm doing right here. B, then C sharp, which is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. To get a T, we need a tone. Then from T to Do is a semitone distance, and of course we have our D again. Now let's look at how many notes are sharpened here. 1, 2. That's to show you that 2 notes are sharpened in the key of D, which indicates that D major has 2 sharps. So whenever you see 2 sharps on a piece of music, the key of that music is D major. Okay? And that also applies for, like I said, G, D, A, E, the first 4 which we are looking at today. We've dealt with G, we've dealt with E. It applies for A, it applies for E. You can go ahead and check this out. Apply the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone formula. For A, you discover that it is F, C, and G that are sharpened in the key of A. And for E, you have F, C, G, D. These 4 notes are sharpened in the key of E major, and that's why E is 4 sharps. Now let's look at the flats. So we are considering for flats, and for flats we have F, we have B flat, we have E flat, and we have A flat. We're considering these 4 keys. So we say keys, number of flats. We say F, B flat, E flat, A flat. Mind you, in music, F is not equals to F sharp, or F is not equals to F flat, whatever that is. Don't confuse the F in the sharp family for the F in the flat family. The F in the sharp family carries an F sharp. We're not doing that today, but this is just F. Okay, so how do we know? Again, how do we know that F is just 1 flat? Let's look at it. So I'll draw the dummy keyboard once again. Okay, this is F. Now let's calculate. We have F, we follow through on a tone, we have G. We follow through on a tone, we have A. To get a semitone, this note, if this is F, G, A, this is Do, Re, Mi. To get our Fa, we have to move a semitone distance, which is B flat. which is B flat, and then we continue to C, we continue to D, we continue to E, and of course our F again. So we can see from here that only one note is flattened, which means that B is flattened in the key of F major. B is flattened and is the only note that is flattened, which makes one flat on a piece of music F major. Okay, the same thing applies to, we said F, B flat, E flat, and A flat. The same thing applies to B flat. Now let's check B flat. Now this is B flat. If this is our B flat, we have B flat, and the next one should be C, the next one should be D, and the next one of course should be E flat. Because this is, if this is our Do, this has to be Re, this has to be Mi, and this will be Fa, because the distance between Mi and Fa should be a semitone. So this will be E flat, and the next one will be F, and then G, and then A, and of course B flat again. So if you look at the key of B flat, only two notes are flattened. Mind you, you're thinking that we have one flat here, another flat here, but look at the notes actually. This is just B, and this is B, and then another one is different, which is E. So only two notes are flattened, and they are B and E. And that's why the key of B flat has just two flats on a piece of music. And the same thing applies to E, and the same thing applies to A. For E, you discover, if you check following this tone, tone, semitone, tone to tone, semitone formula, that the notes flattened in E flat is B, E, and A. And for A flat, of course, we said it's 4. It's B, E, A, and D. And continue like that. Check this out and see if you actually got this correctly. Until later, when we talk about the other keys in the sharp and the flat families, keep learning.